Mankind can conquer the seas, but it cannot conquer their secrets. In every ocean, there are places where law, science, and logic cease to function. Today, we journey to one such place. December, 1900. A remote island off the coast of Scotland. On it, a new lighthouse, and 3 men. Their job was to keep the light burning. But when the next ship arrived, the lighthouse was dark, a meal sat untouched on the table, and all 3 men had vanished into thin air. This isn't a work of fiction. This is the true, unsolved story of the Flannan Isles lighthouse. And whatever happened on that island created a riddle that, even 120 years later, no one can answer. The Flannan Isles, for centuries, were known by another name, the Seven Hunters. To sailors, they were a place of bad omens, home to restless spirits. The weather here is merciless, and the sea is in a constant state of rage. To make these treacherous waters safer, a state-of-the-art lighthouse was built in 1899 on the island of Eilean Mòr. The responsibility of running it was given to 3 experienced keepers. First, let's meet the men at the center of this mystery. First, Thomas Marshall. At 40 years old, he was a father of 2 and the principal keeper. A stern, disciplined man with over 20 years of experience at sea. For him, the rules were everything. Next, James Duckett. 43 years old, a husband and father of 4. He was the most senior and well-liked member of the team. Known for his calm demeanor and ability to handle any situation with a level head. And finally, Donald MacArthur. Just 28 years old, and unmarried. He was powerfully built but known to have a short temper and a confrontational nature. This was his very first assignment on such a remote post. Was he truly prepared for the crushing isolation? 3 very different men, on one tiny island, completely cut off from the world. Their only job, keep the light alive. December 26, 1900. The relief ship, the Hesperus, arrives at the island. On board is Joseph Moore, the keeper scheduled to replace the 3 men. But he's met with a strange, terrifying silence. The lighthouse flag isn't flying. No one is at the landing stage to greet them. The captain sounds the ship's horn. The sound echoes off the island, but the only reply is silence. Joseph Moore rows to the island alone in a small dinghy, his heart sinking with every pull of the oars. He noticed that the supply crane on the landing stage was significantly damaged, as if struck by something with incredible force. He looked up towards the lighthouse and shouted, "Marshall! Duckett!" but only the cries of the gulls answered him. The lighthouse door was closed. Peering through the kitchen window, he saw that everything was clean, but on the table were 3 plates of food, now cold and dry. A single chair was knocked over, as if someone had sprung from the table in a great hurry. But the most chilling discovery was yet to come. Once inside, he found the keepers' waterproof winter coats, their oilskins. 2 were missing. 1 was still hanging on its peg. This meant that one of the men had gone out into a brutal North Atlantic storm without his essential gear. It was a death sentence. The official investigation began. They found the lighthouse logbook. And its contents only deepened the mystery. The entries were written by Thomas Marshall. December 12, he wrote, "I have never seen such a storm in 20 years. He noted that James Duckett had become very quiet and the young Donald MacArthur had been crying. This was unbelievable. These were hardened men of the sea, not men who would weep at a storm. December 13, Marshall wrote that the storm was still raging, and that all 3 men were praying. This was highly unusual. Keepers prayed only when they believed they were about to die. But here's the biggest problem. No storm was ever recorded in that area from December 12 to the 14th. Other ships reported rough seas, but nothing close to the kind of superstorm that would terrify these experienced men. So what storm was Marshall writing about? Was it a storm outside, or inside their minds? December 15, the final entry. Storm ended, sea calm. God is over all. After that, silence. So what really happened to those three men? To this day, there is no single answer. But a few theories rise above the rest. Let's explore each one in depth. Theory 1, the freak wave, the official theory. This is the government's story. It suggests that during a storm, two men, Duckett and MacArthur, went down to the landing stage to secure the crane. Suddenly, rogue wave, a wall of water up to 100 feet high, 10 times bigger than a normal wave, crashed over the island and washed them away. Seeing this, Marshall ran out to save them, and was swept away himself. This explains the overturned chair and the one coat left behind. He ran out in a panic. But the problems remain. Why would experienced men go down to the shore in a storm? And what about the psychological storm described in the logbook? Theory 2, murder and madness. Did the isolation drive them insane? This theory posits that Donald MacArthur, the one with a short temper, finally snapped under the pressure of isolation. He could have murdered Marshall and Duckett, thrown their bodies into the sea, and then jumped in himself. This would explain the crying in the logbook. He was breaking down. But the problems remain. There was no sign of a struggle in the lighthouse. No blood. Everything was neat. A madman does not clean up after himself so perfectly. Theory 3, the supernatural. And now we enter the realm of midnight real stories. For centuries, the island was said to be haunted. Sailors spoke of the phantom of the seven hunters. Some say they were taken by a ghost ship. Other local legends speak of a creature that drags men into the sea. Did they open the door to something, not of this world? Was the storm in the logbook not a physical storm, but a sign of this entity's arrival, a presence that drove them mad with terror before claiming them? Theory 4, foreign spies. This is one final, but intriguing theory. Some believe the keepers saw something they weren't supposed to see. Perhaps a spy submarine or a ship from another country, given the political tensions in Europe at the time. To ensure their silence, they were kidnapped. But the problem is, just like all the others, there is not a single piece of evidence to support this. Today, the Flannan Isles lighthouse is fully automated. No humans stay on the island anymore. The place remains as desolate and mysterious as ever. The bodies of Thomas Marshall, James Duckett, and Donald MacArthur were never found. 3 men, a locked room, an unseen storm, and a secret buried deep within the ocean's heart. Now, it's your turn. What do you think happened on that night? Which theory makes the most sense to you? Was it a natural accident, human madness, or something else entirely? Post your theory in the comments below. I read every single one. If you want to explore more unsolved mysteries that science can't explain, be sure to subscribe to Midnight Real Stories and turn on all notifications. Because in the darkness, there are always more stories to be told. Until next time, stay curious.